You've done the breath work, the 4-7-8 breathing, the box breathing, and the breathing apps. But your shoulders are still in your ears, your neck still hurts, and your back is still tight. And worst of all, you're still anxious. But here's what nobody told you. Your neck tension or chronic pain and your anxiety are the same problem, running in the same loop. And the breathing advice that you have been following is one of the reasons why you are stuck in it. Your breathing isn't just a stress response, it's a pain signal. And when you treat them separately, you stay stuck in both. In the next few minutes, I am going to show you exactly what that loop looks like and the two clinical positions that physically interrupt it. One position is on the floor and the other is seated for those who have difficulty getting on the floor. But first, I need you to understand something that every other breathing video skips. As a therapist and a strength coach, I kept seeing the same pattern for over 10 years, and nobody was connecting all three pieces. When you belly breathe, the way that most people teach, your carbon dioxide level drops below optimal. Your nervous system then reads that as a threat. Your neck braces, and that creates pain. The pain stops you from moving, and that then feeds the anxiety. More anxiety causes more guarding, which causes more pain, and the cycle then continues. And at some point, you stop knowing whether you're in pain because you're anxious or if you're anxious because you are in pain. A therapist treats the anxiety, a physical therapist treats the neck, a yoga teacher gives you a technique, and a psychiatrist gives you medication. All you leave, all 4 appointments, but you're still stuck and nobody is treating the loop. This is not a you problem. You're not broken. This is literally a system problem. Here's what I'm going to show you. Why belly breathing is mechanically incomplete and what it's doing to your nervous system. Then I'm going to show you 2 positions adapted from Postural Restoration Institute that physically interrupt this whole loop. This is not necessarily a relaxation technique, but it's a structural intervention which helps create the structure that you need in order to relax. And this is where it gets clinical, because what I'm going to show you is something your therapist, your yoga teacher, and your physical therapist and your psychiatrist were each getting half right. Nobody has shown all the pieces at the same time. Here is what is actually happening when you belly breathe. Your lungs are not in your abdomen. They live in your rib cage. So when you push air only into your belly and suppress your chest, you are squeezing the upper airway closed. The air goes low, the upper ribs stay rigid, and that rigidity becomes your nervous system's resting state, defended, braced, and constantly guarded. And because you are moving more air than your body needs, your CO2 begins to drop, which your brainstem reads as a threat. Not because you are in danger, but because your nervous system can't tell the difference. It can't tell the difference between a breathing technique and a body that is actually struggling. Belly breathing wasn't wrong, it was incomplete. And that incomplete instruction has been keeping your nervous system in a low-grade threat state every time you tried to calm down. Complete breathing expands in all directions, front, sides, and back. Belly gently present, not pushing out, but also not sucking in. And the exhale always comes first. People really struggle with exhaling fully because the body cannot receive a new breath until it has fully released the last one. That is what every breathing app skips. The first position is child's pose breathing. It does something that no seated exercise can. It uses gravity and body flexion, which is the rounding of the back, to open the posterior ribcage, the backside, the part of your body held closed under chronic stress. So start on all 4s, rock your hips back toward your heels, as far as you can go comfortably. Bring your elbows to your knees, elbows shoulder width, knees hip width. Let your lower back round. That rounding is not a mistake. That rounding is a very important part. Exhale through your mouth, long, soft, 5 to 10 seconds. A quiet sigh, not a forced exhale. It should be something like you are fogging up on a mirror. At the end of that exhale, feel a gentle engagement along the side of your waist, or your side abs, or your internal obliques. Intensity of the engagement is a 2 or 3 out of 10, so not a hard crunch, but just enough to notice connection. Close your mouth, Put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Inhale silently and slowly through your nose for 5 seconds. I describe it as sipping in air. Placing the air throughout your back between your shoulder blades, not gulping like you were about to go scuba diving. Then exhale for a count of 8. I should hear the exhale like you're fogging up glasses. I should not hear the inhalation. Breathing in for 4 and exhaling for 8. That is 1 cycle. Perform 5 breath cycles. If you struggle to sit your hips back, place a foam roller underneath your hips. The second position, the seated posterior expansion. This one targets your back ribs specifically, the most compressed part of your rib cage, especially in a chronically anxious nervous system. Sit at the edge of a chair, feet flat. If your feet don't reach, stack books or use a step. Hips and knees at roughly 90 degrees. Feel both sit bones, those pointy points on each side of your pelvis, making even contact with the seat. If one side feels lighter, adjust until they are even. Fold a pillow in half and wedge that pillow between your lowest ribs and the top of your thighs. Arms forward, bent elbows, palms facing you. Lean gently into a rounded position and sit slouchy, a 3 out of 10 effort. This is not a stretch. This is a gentle protraction of your shoulder blades. Same breath pattern as before. Exhale through your mouth, soft and long. Sigh it out like fogging up a window. Side abs engage lightly at the end. Hold that feeling in your side abs. Place your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Close your mouth. Sip in air slowly through your nose and silently for 3 to 5 seconds. Then open mouth and exhale and sigh, and then put fog on the window for 8 seconds. That is 1 cycle. Do this for 5 breath cycles. And I know what you might be thinking right now. 5 breaths, that's it? That sounds way too simple for something that has been this complicated for this long. The people I've worked with who finally shifted were the ones who didn't do the most intensive programs. They were the ones who finally did the right things consistently when it felt small, because your nervous system doesn't need a marathon. It needs evidence. Your nervous system doesn't need a big program. It needs consistency, and it needs stabilization and evidence that your body is capable of something different. Evidence that you can fully exhale, that your back can open, that your neck doesn't have to take over and hold everything. 5 breaths done well like this is evidence. You don't need to do more. You need to do the right thing and let your body register that something has changed. These are not just relaxation exercises. Your nervous system doesn't learn from relaxation. It learns from evidence that your body can shift states and that it is safe enough to stop guarding, safe enough to expand, safe enough to let go of tension that has been holding in places you didn't even know you were holding. Therapy taught me to understand the loop. These positions gave my body a reason to stop the loop. That's the difference between insight and intervention. And you need both. So 5 breaths, 1 position. That's where you begin. And then let your nervous system do what it was always capable of doing, which is shifting, when someone finally showed it how. If what you just listened to resonated in any way, that's what I do. I'm a licensed therapist, trauma-informed strain coach, and I've worked with over 1,500 people. I'm a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. And over the past many years, the people who came to me after trying everything, they came to me trying everything separately. They just had to put the pieces together. So share this with someone who needs it. There's a link below if you need more help. No rush. Take a look when you're ready.